Hey, welcome back to my channel. We are doing lesson 152 in A Course in Miracles workbook. We are out of the review. Yesterday's lesson was no longer a review. Today I'm a little screwed up because, again, I was missing a lesson. Anyways, okay, so we're on another full, very full, very important, I think, point in this workbook, lesson 152. The power of decision is my own. No one can suffer loss unless it be his own decision. No one suffers pain except his choice elects this state for him. No one can grieve nor fear nor think him sick unless these are the outcomes that he wants. And no one dies without his own consent. Nothing occurs but represents your wish, and nothing is omitted that you choose. Here is your world, complete in all details. Here is its whole reality for you, and it is only here salvation is. You may believe that this position is extreme and too inclusive to be true. Yet, can truth have exceptions? If you have the gift of everything, can loss be real? Can pain be part of peace or grief of joy? Can fear and sickness enter in a mind where love and perfect holiness abide? Truth must be all inclusive, if it be the truth at all. Accept no opposites and no exceptions, for to do so is to contradict the truth entirely. You know, it's amazing because Jesus is reminding us, not just reminding us, just like shaking us. It is a choice to decide what it is that you are going to see. Are you going to see the illusions that the ego has kind of tricked us into believing are so fantastic? Or are you going to choose truth? That's the second self, what I call the real self. The capital me self, the capital I, where we look out in this other dimension of awareness and see over there the little me believing in all of the illusions. And it is a matter of making a decision each and every moment, especially when thoughts that bounce you out of your second self right back into the jar. And all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, I'm back in the jar. I was just back in the jar like 10 minutes ago. I am doing this religiously. I am doing these lessons. I have God in the forefront of my mind all day, every day. How on earth can I possibly get back in the jar? And I do all the time. But the difference between now and then is I don't stay in the jar for long. And it's a very quick awareness. And I don't guilt myself that I found myself back in the jar. I don't punish myself for finding myself back in the jar as little me, as the illusory me. I'm like, oh God, oh wow, here I am again. All right, come right back out. And then you feel that truth come over you again. It's really hitting me now why the last 10 lessons, before each lesson, it was my mind holds only what I think with God. My mind holds only, I can't even remember those words. I had to actually go back. But I don't remember those words. But when I say God is always on the forefront of my mind, that's what's happening. My mind holds, it's incredible. I can't even remember the words. My mind holds only what I think with God. And that's why leading up to these lessons, this new batch of full lessons, that review was so important that idea had to be started with each review. My mind holds only what I think with God. So if you find yourself back in the cave, in the jar, in the matrix, if you will, as soon as you are aware of where you allowed your mind to go, you can easily it's kind of like in meditation. If you meditate, you know that sometimes your mind goes left. You were good, you were totally focused, you were listening to the words, you were there. You have, you kind of escaped the body. Now you're in this energetic field, you're feeling good, and then all of a sudden, you're thinking about high school prom 30 years ago. It's like something so random or something so more relevant in your day. And you bloop, 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 bloop down into the maze, the fun house of randomness. And then you're like, oh my God, I'm not even listening to the guided meditation. And that awareness, when you go back to present moment, which is to your meditation, as you're sitting there, you can feel that rush of energy when you make that shift back to truth. So even in your meditation, I always feel that like wave of energy going, wow, it almost felt good to like leave and come back, because that's almost like a rush in and of itself. And that's why just that idea of, oh, it's not so bad when you find yourself back in the jar of like nothing, of like ridiculousness, because you can't, it's like you can't know what you want, or you can't know the truth without having experienced the untruths. Like Abraham Hicks says, you can't know what you want when you haven't experienced what you don't want. It's that not wanting segment is so vital. It's so vital because it makes you realize there's something more. This is not it. And this is what pushes people to maybe do this work, do Abraham Hicks, use whatever vehicle to get into the vortex, or to become that big me, that big self, that big I, the truth, not the illusory stuff, not the carnival, not the smoke and mirrors of trinkets of just crap. So it's okay if you're bouncing back in and out of the vortex, in and out of the jar, but we do get better, and I think quicker at making that becoming aware and making that connection. It's like, oh God, I'm back in. Okay, nope, and no big deal. And it's no big deal. Okay, let's carry on. Salvation is the recognition that the truth is true and nothing else is true. This you have heard before, but may not yet accept both parts of it. Without the first, the second has no meaning. The truth is true and nothing else is true. Without the first, the second has no meaning. But without the second, is the first no longer true. Truth cannot have an opposite. It just is. This cannot be too often said and thought about, for if what is not true is true as well as what is true, then part of truth is false, and truth has lost its meaning. Nothing but the truth is true, and what is false is false. This is the simplest of distinctions, yet the most obscure. But not because it is a difficult distinction to perceive. It is concealed behind a vast array of choices that do not appear to be entirely your own. And thus the truth appears to have some aspects that belie consistency, but do not seem to be, but contradictions introduced by you. As God created you, you must remain unchangeable, with transitory states by definition false. And that includes all shifts in feeling, alterations in conditions of the body and the mind, in all awareness and in all response. Like anytime your body experiences any sort of change, which could be an illness, a disease, or whatever, the idea that it can change means it's just false. It is vital. It is vital to be unshakable when things in the jar happen, and that includes, which is the biggest mind bender, is when it happens to the body, because it feels so real, because our nerve endings that are sending messages to our mind saying this is painful, feels so real. And when that happens, anything that just doesn't feel good, whether it's to the body or in your world, some of the I find it to be hugely beneficial when I almost get a little excited when shit goes down now, because I say, oh my God, it's another opportunity for me to witness the truth. And I feel like when you can change the perspective, oh my God, another challenge that Spirit will show me is not real. It will be done with. It will be undone through miracles. It's just another word, miracles, the undoing. The realization of truth is the miracles, is the miracle. So it is about perspective and attitude, right? Sometimes, like, if we want to start our day assuming the worst, you're probably going to get the worst. But, knowing that you maybe when you wake up, your day is going to be tough. And it's in the past, it's always been tough based on whatever project you're doing or whatever the circumstances are. But it's like changing your attitude and changing how you're going to play this out in your mind. And you wake up saying, oh, I'm going to see solutions, and it's going to be easy, and it's going to be fun. And, you're like pre-paving your day. It's almost like pre-paving any challenges that come on board. You can just look at it as like okay, another opportunity for me to witness a miracle. Because the truth of the matter is every challenge has a miracle right around the corner, and 100% of the time. Those that don't witness the miracle are not ready to see the miracle because they're too focused on the problem. The mind is very powerful. The mind can block and the mind can let in, because everything starts and ends in the mind, even your problems that are not truly anything. They are not anything. So if your mind actually brought the problem on, so but the beautiful thing is your mind can solve the problem as well. Just knowing that it all starts here, then you can be like, oh my God, I can solve everything because I put it there to begin with, and I can take it away. It's incredible. But that's really, really hard for most of us to get our heads around. No pun intended. Get our minds around. Okay. Let me repeat this. And that includes all shifts in feeling, like I was talking about, alterations in conditions of the body and the mind, in all awareness and in all response. This is the all-inclusiveness which sets the truth apart from falsehood, and the false kept separate from the truth as what it is. Is it not strange that you believe to think you made the world you see is arrogance? God made it not. God did not create any of this. God's creation is the truth that we've been talking about. That second self, the most important self, the only self that exists, the capital S self. Of this you can be sure. What can he know of the ephemeral, the sinful and the guilty, the afraid, the suffering and lonely, and the mind that lives within a body that must die? You but accuse him of insanity to think he made a world where such things seem to have reality. He is not mad, yet only madness makes a world like this. I mean, this is the insanity that our minds have created, and this was without God involved. This is the ego mind that has created this world of a lot of stuff that never fulfills us, and we wonder why. Why do we just continue to want more and more? We manifest a lot of stuff, money, cars, houses, this, that, and there's still an emptiness inside. And none of that was God's doing. God's sitting back with the real eye going, we're always here loving. Join with us. Join with yourself. And you will see that all this junk and all the emotions attached to the junk, guilt, sin, even this feeling of ecstasy and ultimate pleasure. I mean, even those erratic shifts of the highs and lows, that is not of God. God is just a peaceful contentment of a love, an unconditional love that just is so far-reaching. It's eternal. To think that God made chaos contradicts his will, invented opposites to truth, and suffers death to triumph over life. All this is arrogance. Humility would see at once these things are not of him. And you can see what God created not. Sorry, that was a question. So that Jesus is asking us, can you see what God created not? To think you can is merely to believe you can perceive what God willed not to be. And what could be more arrogant than this? Let us today be truly humble and accept what we have made as what it is. The power of decision is our own. Decide but to accept your rightful place as co-creator of the universe, and all you think you made will disappear. What rises to awareness then will be all that there ever was, eternally as it is now. And it will take the place of self-deceptions made, but to usurp the altar to the Father and the Son. Today we practice true humility, abandoning the false pretense by which the ego seeks to prove it arrogant. Only the ego can be arrogant. But truth is humble in acknowledging its mightiness, its changelessness, and its eternal wholeness, all encompassing God's perfect gift to his beloved Son. We lay aside the arrogance which says that we are sinners, guilty and afraid, ashamed of what we are, and lift our hearts in true humility instead to him who has created us immaculate, like to himself in power and in love. The power of decision is our own, and we accept of him that which we are and humbly recognize the Son of God. To recognize God's Son implies as well that all self-concepts have been laid aside and recognized as false. Their arrogance has been perceived, and in humility the radiance of God's Son, his gentleness, his perfect sinlessness, his Father's love, his right to heaven and release from hell are joyously accepted as our own. Now do we join in glad acknowledgement that lies are false and only truth is true. We think of truth alone as we arise. and spend 5 minutes practicing its ways, encouraging our frightened minds with this. The power of decision is my own. This day I will accept myself as what my Father's will created me to be. Then will we wait in silence, giving up all self-deceptions as we humbly ask ourselves that He reveal Himself to us, and He who never left will come again to our awareness. Grateful to restore His home to God as it was meant to be. In patience, wait for Him throughout the day, and hourly invite Him with the words with which the day began, concluding it with the same invitation to yourself. God's voice will answer, for He speaks for you and for your Father. He will substitute the peace of God for all your frantic thoughts, the truth of God for self-deceptions, and God's Son for your illusions of yourself. God is just asking us to join with Him, to join with Jesus. It is a decision though. And it's like, what do you want to decide? And the ego is so embedded in these really like dark corners of our mind that sometimes we can't even decipher if this is God or if this is ego. But the question you have to ask yourself is this a loving thought to myself? Is this a loving thought to myself? And you're going to get your answer immediately. And then there God is right there. Boom. With all this love and support. So, the power of decision is my own. This day I will accept myself as what my Father's will created me to be. Amen. We got this. Lesson 152, the power of decision is my own. I love you. God bless you. Thank you for joining me today. Let's keep going. Make the right decision. It might take one thought at a time, but we are getting better at really being able to catch the thought before it really gains any sort of traction, any sort of momentum, before it takes us back into the jar, and just keep stepping away from the jar. Keep stepping away from the cave. Just keep stepping away from that little self, that egoic self, and come back to truth. Just keep coming back to truth. Thank you again. Till next time.